All right, it is 1 minute after the hour, so we'll go ahead and get started. We're going to do Aspen updates in an instant and see how quickly I can talk about all of the wonderful things that we have done over the course of the last 3-ish weeks. We won't cover everything, so it'll just kind of be the highlights. And then we'll try to save a little bit of time if anybody has questions at the end. The release notes were posted in the Aspen Slack channel, but you can also get to them at aspentest.bywatersolutions.com/admin/release notes if you want to see the release notes for everything that has been done. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was some of the browse category updates that we've done. So we've got a couple of really cool features here. Let me go first so let's take a look at our browse categories. We've got a couple here. We've got Memorial Day, which is over now. So we'd like to get rid of that easily. We've got our June is Pride Month. And we added a Magic Tree House. Now, one of the things that's been kind of a pain in the past is updating browse categories. So we've gone ahead and made this a lot easier. So if we click into Magic Tree House, and if we wanted to change this, so for example, if we wanted to say, let's only look at the fiction books. So we're going to get rid of all of those companion titles and just have that. The fiction ones, we're going to leave it sorted by, let's do the, well, newest first. And now we want to update and save that. So we're going to go all the way down to the bottom and we're going to say add to browse. Now we have a brand new feature where we can now either update the existing or create a new one. So now we can just say update the existing category. We pick the browse category we want to update, go down to Magic Tree House and say update category. And that updates automatically. So now when we go back to the browse functionality, we will see Magic Tree House and we'll have all of the non-companion ones. So it should be much, much easier for people to update all of those categories. The next thing kind of related to browse categories. So let's go into our administration and we're going to scroll down to our browse categories. Look at our browse categories. So we had that Memorial Day one that we don't really need to show anymore. So we're going to go in and edit that. We have now start dates and end dates to show. So this will allow you to kind of queue up your browse categories. So you can make things a month before or a couple of weeks before and say, hey, we don't need to show this after, let's say, 8 a.m. on the Tuesday after Memorial Day. So let's save those changes. And now when we go back to our browse categories, we'll see that Memorial Day is now gone and the June is Pride Month is our new first category. So that's really cool. Hopefully that makes it a lot easier for everybody to update and keep all of their browse categories fresh without having to be up late on Memorial Day just to update your browse category to take it down. A lot of those functions also work for collection spotlights, so you're able to update collection spotlights and that kind of thing as well. Going back to release notes, we've also made some enrichment updates. So one of the things people didn't like previously was the more like this in the series scroller didn't stretch across the full width of the screen, so they kind of started halfway through. Those are now using the J Carousel collection spotlight. So the more like this will extend the full width of the screen. Same thing with series. So if we've got series data, we can easily just click in between those. So you still get the full list in preferred reading order, but you can see them all easily at once. We also added at least initial support for Syndetics Unbound. So right now you can create a Syndetics Unbound container. So this is just a new, in your more details, there's a place for Syndetics Unbound if you're using Syndetics Unbound rather than Syndetics Classic or Novelist. You can use Syndetics Unbound and Novelist together if you want. But if you're using Syndetics Unbound, it'll put this all into one container so you can easily see all of the information, get the excerpts, all of the information that Syndetics Unbound gives you. So we're really excited for that. When you go to configure that, you'll go to your Syndetics Unbound in the third-party enrichment. You can go in, you'll say that, yes, this is Syndetics Unbound, give it the account number, and then it's integrated for you. And then you'll need to give it your key and that kind of thing. So that is all available. And all of the options you have selected will show properly. We have also made a bunch of updates to permissions. So especially for our larger consortia, where you want individual libraries to control some things, but not necessarily everything. Get Zoom controls out of the way. So if we go into our permissions, we now have a bunch of new permissions for what fields within the library and location settings can be edited. So down here under primary configuration, we now have primary configuration library fields. And if we scroll down a little bit more, we've got primary configuration local fields. So this will give us the ability to say what different people at the library can and can't do. So a lot of times with consortia especially, it'll be the central office is kind of in charge of a lot of things like how does the actual connection to the ILS work? And then at the branch or library level, we do want them to control like their own hours and settings, maybe the menu, holidays, that kind of thing. So we can kind of really control who gets what. We've set some sensible defaults for the library admin and library manager roles. So if anybody has those, they'll kind of get the defaults, but you're free to change those as much as you want. So then if we look at, I'll just log in with my test account here. So I'm going to sign out and sign back in as myself. So now when I go into those configuration options for myself, I can go into the library systems, and instead of having everything, I've got a much more manageable amount of things that I can do. So I can update my Facebook URLs and that kind of thing, but not control like what records are included, or I guess I did give myself which records are included, but can't do things like the overall ILS integration, that kind of thing. So feel free to give people as much or as little control as you want. They're all kind of broken up into categories. So there's, I think we decided close to 20 different categories for the library page of permissions you can give. And for the location page, it's about 10. So you can get some pretty fine-grained control over that. Then the last kind of big feature that I wanted to go over was with reading history and last checkout. So as we all know, as you're trying to figure out which of the Magic Treehouse books or whatever series you're reading, you've actually read, it can be really tricky to know, did I read this one? Did I not read this one? So we added, based off of your reading history, if you're logged in, and the title is on your reading history, we can see the last checkout date. So we can say, okay, I last used this in June 2021. Or if I've got older stuff, it'll show as well. So as I'm trying to figure out what shows or what to read in order, I can say, okay, I already read that one or I didn't. So really great with kids and stuff. Right now, if you do have linked accounts, this won't show reading history for linked accounts because we don't show reading history for linked accounts. So if you're managing your kids' accounts or something and you want to know what they have checked out, you would need to log in as that user or as the child. And actually, I lied. I am going to show one more bonus feature. So as we look at lists, we have added the drag and drop got unwieldy, especially for really large lists. So if you are sorting by a user defined, we've removed the ability to drag and drop, and we've just got some little arrows that will show up. This is the last thing that we're, or one of the last things that we're in the process of implementing before release tomorrow. So basically we can, yeah, I don't have the latest code, sorry. But basically you'll be able to click up, click down, or when you edit, you can change which position. So I can say, move this down to position 10. But we think that'll be a lot more user-friendly for patrons, especially as especially on mobile and that kind of thing. So just easier than trying to drag and drop a list when you can only see a few things because of lots of grouping and that kind of thing. So just more things to try to make it easier for patrons. All right, that was our release notes in 13 minutes. Anybody have any questions?
Sorry, let me put my microphone down. On the reading history for the tool, if they would ever like turn that, I don't know how to say this, like, is it stored separately inside of Aspen, or if they would turn it off on like the Koha side, would now all of it be lost? And that the little bubbles would just go away.
Yeah, it's stored separately in Aspen. So if they turn it off in Aspen, then all the bubbles would go away.
Then all the bubbles
or they can individually delete things. So if I don't really want people to know that I read Magic Treehouse books,
yes, it's my secret. Yeah, it's my guilty pleasure that I don't want anyone knowing about. That's right.
Yes. Then I can always delete those out of my reading history. So
okay, yeah. Cool. Because like there's a bubble inside the Koha folks that people have been finding really annoying. Of like it pops up as like, you've checked this out before. Do you want to know this? And it sounds like we could actually turn that off now and just go to the Aspen stuff, because it would show the checked out there, and they could just masquerade as them and says like, no, you've checked that out. We don't need that anymore.
Right.
So.
Yep.
Awesome.
Any other questions? Anything? Any other features that we didn't go over that anybody wants more information on? All right. Well, this code will roll out to all sites tomorrow evening. So we'll start deploying again. We deploy around 8 o'clock Mountain, 10 o'clock Eastern. So you'll be up and on the latest first thing in the morning, Friday morning. And if you see any issues or have any questions about things after the release, feel free to let us know. Hit us up on Slack. There's a question about documentation on API updates. It's pretty much the same kind of documentation in code. So none of the, we can go over that, Jonathan, if you want. The valid pickup locations and preferred pickup locations are ones you might want to use for your app, and the rest are designed to support the Aspen app that's coming up. You could use them as well, but. Yeah. Any other questions? All right. Well, we're really excited to get this release out to you. We think it's got a lot of really great features. And yeah, let us know what you think. All right. Have a great rest of your Wednesday, everyone. We'll talk to you later.